should hit the record button.
Record button? We have one of those?
Allegedly.
I don't know. I just gotta go until you say something.
it's presumably running all the time.
All the time. That could be scary.
A little bit. It's always funny when we have like guests people on, and like I'll already be recording them, and then we'll be going for a while. And they're like, "Wait, are we recording?" Are we like, "Yeah"? And then they'll be like, "Oh, cut that out." That was not public knowledge. But speaking about public knowledge,
this
is Deadzone the podcast.
I'm Rick.
I'm Bryan.
Welcome to the Deadzone podcast. Deadzone is the sci-fi tabletop.
Sometimes I wonder when we do that cold opening, because I mean that's I guess that's what you call it, is a cold opening.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever expect me to say something off the wall?
You never know.
Normally think okay, is this the one where Bryan's going to say something completely off the wall, and I'm going to have to take a second to figure out what I'm going to say?
That's why we record all the time.
That is, record it all.
But yes, here we are. It is the end of July as we are recording this.
Yeah, end of July.
Oh, it's been a busy month. I think all around.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and like I think both of us have had major family trips or gatherings.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Alaska. I guess that's kind of major.
Did you wind up tracking that guy down to play?
R.G. Allen, no, unfortunately. So when I got up there, he was actually in, I think it was Kentucky or something like that, or Connecticut. And the day he was going to be back for us to be able to get together, I was on my way down to Denali.
Ships passing
across
the country in the night.
In the midnight sun time thing. That was so funny, was watching my kids with that.
Yeah.
The understanding that, between the time shift and the fact that the sun doesn't go down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I suppose so.
And even when the sun goes down, it's not really down.
Yeah.
And it took Levi 4 days, but on that fourth day, it's almost 2:00 in the morning, and he is bouncing off the walls. We're outside. He's like, I want to do something. I was like, dude, it's 2:00 in the morning. It is? Yeah.
People from Alaska are built different, that's for sure.
Yeah, we are.
But
and then you had a little trip too?
It was mostly I had people visiting. I had family coming from Wisconsin on over to visit 2 weekends in a row on top of a weekend trip to visit the in-laws. So it was like 3 weekends straight of nothing but gatherings and cookouts. And so I had quite the diet of brats and burgers for 2 weeks.
Well, and then I mean, both of us also, like, our workloads kind of changed. We got a lot going on our work plate too, so like it's been a super busy month. But it's been crazy everything that's going on around us in the Warpath universe.
Yeah. So some brief news. You may have heard.
Have heard.
So both the Nightstalkers and the Matsudon officially have their beta lists up in the companions for Deadzone. And we had originally kind of planned that the regular episode we would cover that and talk about those lists.
Yeah.
And
it was a nice idea.
It was a nice idea. I think it's something we are going to have to put a pin in and do a rain check on because neither of us have really had time to dive into either list with any kind of in-depth like ooh, let's think this through and look at it. And so, you know, we rather than just like, oh, we pull it up and we do it off the cuff.
We'll dive into it because I also want to take my Asterion Matsudon list and plug it into the Matsudon list to see how it's changed.
Yeah,
because my list is 175 points for the Asterions, and I'm not 100% sure how that equates to the Matsudon list.
Yeah. So I think too, like I need to have the like visuals open when I'm looking at these lists.
More helpful.
Yeah.
See what you're talking about.
Yeah. It helps me like frame like, okay, this is the guy, because I think there's there's at least 2 living legends on the Matsudon, and I only know Otasora.
And that's the thing with the Matsudon, like that's the easy one. Because we've known him for a long time because of Star Saga.
Yeah. I actually haven't painted up.
So is mine.
And then obviously the Nightstalkers
yes,
are their own beast, and so wanna and they're new, like they're cutting edge stuff. So we want to give it a little bit more time for us to sink our teeth into it and take a look through.
And before the end of August, hopefully we can get on here and record you guys an episode that's specifically about Nightstalkers and Matsudon.
Yeah,
that's what we'd like to do.
Yeah, we want to do just kind of list reviews, potentially one of each as their own little episodes. Just feel like that might be a better way to go about doing that rather than trying to cram it in when neither of us have had a chance to look at it.
Yeah, definitely.
If you need that, up to the minute kind of review of it, definitely check out. I know Family of Gamers.
Family of Gamers, yep.
You guys, those guys have been doing a great job covering all of the latest.
They've knocked out a ton of videos, which is so awesome.
And hey, Way to Fire is back.
Way to Fire is back. You also have the Firefight podcast.
Controlled Fire.
Yeah, the boys from Brisbane. That's what
you can tell. We're on a really tight ship here, as you can tell. But yeah, there's a great wealth of stuff out there now. It's a great time to be if you're just getting into this game.
If you're just getting into the Warpath universe, I mean, if you think about it, Way of Fire is back. FamilyOfGamers777 is knocking out a ton of content. We have Controlled Fire, who I gotta give them a shout out because their recent episode is also about the Marauders. You have us, of course, doing our thing.
DreadpathZone and Countercharge, those guys are still doing a lot of firefight stuff yet.
Yep.
As they do a lot of Kings of War, obviously, but
Countercharge has got some firefight stuff going on too.
Yeah, Tyler Schultz, I think he just recently posted like his big frozen like GCPS Northern Alliance army, and I just like happened to be listening to the episode where he was talking about it while I was mowing the lawn a couple weeks back, and like it's not only just like the parka stuff, but like he's got Frostbanes in place of mules and all sorts of fun conversions. So it's really neat to take a look at. So and I think he was able to finally showcase it because he played in a tournament or something.
Yeah.
And on top of that, If you haven't seen it, or you're only kind of following us on Podbean or just the podcast side of things, we did
put a YouTube video.
We did a video. We're experimenting with it a little bit, but we did put out a video on talking about the Frontiers campaign that Mantic just put out for Deadzone specifically, which if you're unfamiliar, it's a basically a Frontiers thing is kind of a crowdfunding piece, but a big part of it is you like by backing it and funding it, you get access to the stuff right
immediately.
And
it's over on MyMinifactory.
Yep, it's on MyMinifactory. They just unlocked as of this recording the 5th strike team, which I believe was the Veerman one.
Yes.
Which, if is closely tied to the vault. But now that we actually have, so we recorded that before the launch, and we had some details about it. But now that it's fully live, it's been great to look through. And I know I've already backed it for.
In, yep.
I jumped in right away with the so those of us that have the vault already have a good chunk of what's coming out as part of this, or
of the
have
lists, at
accumulated
least.
It. Yeah, of the print off list that they've been putting together. But that said, they do have some stuff that is included. Yeah, specifically in the Frontiers. So go check out our YouTube video where we talked about it more, and go check out the Frontiers campaign for yourself. It's really neat to see Mantic take that step. We always kind of felt that they were right on the cusp of something new and a brave new frontier, as it were. and it's really cool to see them really embracing that. After over a year of Vault 3D models that they made for the community, along with some new exclusive things there that they then sell direct and through other vendors. It's really great to see them really embrace some of the stuff on the 3D modeling side, while still pushing their model business. Like that's always the tightrope to walk, right?
not only pushing their model business, their physical models, but like still upping their game.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, everyone? I'm Andrew.
And I'm Coach.
From FamilyOfGamers777 on YouTube.
And you are listening to Deadzone the Podcast with Rick and Bryan.
Do you think they'll be upset that our audio is better than theirs?
Nah. Rick will probably just laugh it off. Told you.
On top of that, it's been a thing that for whatever reason I feel like I messed up a setting or something, or I haven't been paying as close attention. There's the Warpath, the Epic Warpath Kickstarter has had regular updates coming out,
and some amazing renders in there.
And I feel like I've been pretty oblivious to them, and I feel bad about that. It's on me.
Well, it's funny because you sent me that message about the renders, and I'm like, oh, did I miss something? Because I've been fairly conscious of what's going on over there, and I looked at the last update and I was like, okay, I missed one update. So yes, you finally saw the renders that I've been Googling on.
Yeah. So like these go back through June. Yep. And they're mostly just things that flew under my radar, and like finally getting to look at them, I thought that'd be a great thing to mention here. I'm trying to think if backers only have access to the updates or if everyone can see them.
If you go, if you're not a backer and you go to the Kickstarter page,
yeah,
you can still see the updates.
Yeah. Cool. So I'll be linking to the campaign. Look in the updates tab specifically, and go back just a couple of weeks or months at this point. When they start talking about like the new Pledge Manager feature, new Forge Father vehicle renders is the first one, and we got the Sigrun dropship preview, all 3D model rendered up, looks awesome, and the
very Forge Father.
Yeah, and the Halak atmospheric fighter, which it's a weird combination of words there in my mind. But it's like what do they call it? Like a nose gun fighter. Like it's a ship that just has a big gun out of its nose, and still very Forge Fathery, like very angular and big plates of steel. And so that'll be an in atmosphere flyer for the Forge Fathers. So those renders are really cool. Another one that just completely slipped for me was the GCPS Mall Battleship.
Yeah.
Which looks awesome. There's at least 4 of the triple barrel style cannons strapped to this thing, and it looks kind of like it's straight out of Gundam.
It looks mean. It looks mean.
It looks mean. It looks like the front probably pops open and dudes drop out of it. Like there's a lot of thrusters that are angled out, which makes me think it can really like hover above the ground and everything. There's some renders of what the GCPS Marines themselves look like as minis.
And the Forge Fathers.
And the Forge Fathers, the Brockers specifically, which, again, like the detail is
yeah, for that size is crazy.
I mean, they practically look like the Brockers at 28.
Yeah.
But extra tiny. It's impressive that they're able to keep the proportions, because that was always something with Mantic's style of 28 millimeter was they kind of had, I don't know if you call it more realistic isn't the right word for it, but it's the non-heroic one where heroic ones are the ones that the head's a little bit bigger. Some of the other proportions are just a little bit more exaggerated. Mantic's has always kind of had rather subdued proportions, but not in a bad way. It makes them look very like real, like for lack of a better word, like it makes them stand out in the crowd, ironically, by not being absurd.
Yes.
And then continuing to move forward, one that Super I was aware of was the GCPS Super Heavy concept of the big walker mech, which my friends over at Mobile Armor Radio were very quick.
Jumped all over. Yep.
Yeah. Still looks really cool.
So for me, like 100%, if I get this model, I am 150,000% going to paint it like Shockwave.
Yeah, I can see
that's that. Because I can totally see Shockwave with those guns.
Shockwave would be a really good Maison.
Color scheme? Yeah.
Color scheme. And then right below it is the Marauder's Ripper mech.
This one just looks fun. I can't wait for this one.
It really does. Like there's a spinning buzzsaw. It's got the inverted knees, so it's stomping around. Like it is like a bigger stunt bot.
It reminds me of what was it? Tremors 3?
Tremors 3?
That had the trimmers that had legs?
That was 2.
Was it 2 that had those little things?
Was when they started. Then in 3 they got wings.
Oh, okay, yeah. So 3 had wings. So yeah, it reminds me of
lore is coming in clutch.
It reminds me of those, but in mech form.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Kind of like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there was those little robot walker things. Except
that too. Well, I mean, and of course, I look at it, and the first thing I think of is the Goblin engineers that built it.
I love the idea.
You know that they had to be cracking up.
So I really hope, and I don't know if this will become fact. I really hope that that's piloted by multiple goblins. Like a stunt bot piloted by one, cool. Grunt bot piloted by one. I want this to be like Voltron or
like multiple.
It's a goblin Megazord.
So this is one of the ones where you want that split vision of.
Yeah.
And it's got the goblins doing all the different parts.
That would be so fun. Oh man. We'll see what becomes canon. But until that time, you've heard it here first. Our idea on what's going on is the most accurate.
You also definitely want to look at the update number 34, because that gives you a little bit of a faction breakdown on how they potentially play.
Yeah.
So if for some reason you want to attempt to change and figure out something, and you see this and you're like, oh wait, I really want the Marauders, this will give you an understanding of why you want the Marauders.
Oh yeah. It's a great breakdown of the different play styles. And then also in that same update, we also get the first taste of the nameless super heavies. Which look just gigantic and nasty. Giant krill floating through space. Oh man, Mantic, your concept artists are really, really solid. B, the 3D modeling that you guys have got going on are top notch. And C, we can't wait. We're very excited for this.
Yeah, definitely.
And so with that, I wanted to just highlight that kind of that stuff, just because it's another space where the Warpath universe is kind of continuing to evolve and expand and get new things that might, for those people, like I know I personally, I feel like I'm most comfortable in the 28mm space.
Yeah.
And I struggled even to go up to 32, and I don't even know how I feel about like
going down.
Going down.
It'll be interesting when we get our Kickstarter, like how well I do.
Yeah.
Because I've never painted something that small.
Yeah.
Though I was tempted the other day. I was looking at my Risk, my Star Wars Risk.
Oh, yeah?
I was tempted to pull those out and try and paint those just to see if I could paint at that scale. But I'll wait.
Yeah.
So that's it. We got nothing else going on, right?
We always got
the rest of the summer's
on.
like nothing's going on.
There's always stuff going on.
Is there?
Yeah, and including probably like the week after this episode comes out, because this will be coming out on the 28th.
There's something going on the first week of August?
Yeah. Do you happen to know anything about
I might.
Indiana?
I might know a little. I'm actually really excited about this one. So obviously Gen Con. Indiana Gen Con. And that's always a huge show for Mantic. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, obviously you're going to see a lot of the same familiar faces from Adepticon. If you guys want to see Blake and Kyle, definitely go check out the big Kings of War game, but also the big Armada game. If you're interested in learning some Kings of War and whatnot, or learning how to play Armada on a normal scale, you'll see Mike Carter over there. And then, of course, if you go to the booth, you'll have some familiar places, people playing maybe some Halo.
Probably some Halo.
And there is going to be some Hellboy going on and some Worms.
All this stuff.
And part of the reason why I'm super excited about this one is, so I guess in the game area, so I've never been into Gen Con. So it'll be a new one for me. But not only is it going to be a new one for me, I'll be running Halo in the gaming area with my daughter Rachel.
That's awesome.
She will be helping me run Halo. So the last couple times last year, she really wanted to go to AdeptCon again because 2 years ago, her and Levi, I took them down there just for a few hours, and then we came back, and she absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
she was blown away by it. So then, of course, we went to the Lansing City Comic Con last year, and actually spent some time there, and she really enjoys that environment.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was one of those when I confirmed that, yep, I'm going to go to Gen Con. I just randomly brought it up to her. She's like, what do I got to do? Can I go? Can I go? Can I go? I was like, well, as a Pathfinder, you got to run these games. And she's like, well, what games do I got to run? And I said, well, probably it would be Halo. And she's like, I have no idea how to play Halo. And I was like, do you remember how to play Deadzone? She's like, yeah, I kicked your butt. I was like, yes, but do you remember how to play the game? You're just like, yeah. And I'm like, well, Halo's engine is based very similar to Deadzone. So yeah, she's super excited about that.
And Rick's daughter is very good at Deadzone.
With the plague.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So we just need to really push Mantic to get the flood in there.
Yeah.
It's practically like having the plague.
Her cousin, her brother, and her boyfriend are all super jealous that she's going to be playing Halo.
Nice.
Yeah, because it was one of those. Her boyfriend was over here and we were talking about things. We were talking about Halo, and he was like, yeah, I've played most of the Halo games. You're going to start playing video games again? No. This is a miniatures game. And he's like, what? No way. And I said, yeah, it's a lot like Deadzone. Hey, I've played Deadzone. That's a fun game. Wait, there's going to be a Halo one? Yep. Yeah, so they're a little jealous of Rachel on that one.
That's as they should be. So they should get their tickets now.
Yes.
And hopefully ask for time off as needed.
As needed. But yeah, so that's the first week of August. So that'll be crazy.
Yeah, and I know talking to Pat, stuff coming in at the last minute, but fingers crossed. Knocking on wood. Hopefully, this Microsoft outage
doesn't completely.
Yeah, and
that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
So we will hear all about Gen Con adventures when you guys get back.
Yes,
next
indeed.
Time.
And we may even see if I can convince Rachel to come on and talk about her experience there.
That would be sweet. Even if we record it separately and then push it in. That might be the way to do it.
Separately, and we'll accidentally leave your audio and my audio out, and it'll just be Rachel.
Yeah. It's not like we've ever done that before. Heck, I found out that the video that we posted, apparently the left audio channel didn't encode. Not from our recording, but from when I had to go and splice in the episode opener.
Oh.
And I recorded a little bumper to correct us because we started when I started it, I called it a tribes event.
Yes.
In MyMinifactory because I was
not tribes.
More familiar with that. Frontiers is more new, I should say. And so we corrected ourselves in the episode, but I felt the need to do it right away. Since we were given like the sneak peek, I'm like, I've gotta make
sure we do it right.
We can't re-record, but like I wanted to make sure it's like, no, this is Frontiers go forward. So all that said, go check out that video. And I apologize for the audio the mono audio not going to both stereo channels.
Whoops.
I don't know what with that.
It's all right.
New video editing software. That I'll probably have to learn a bit better. But yeah. So with that, I think
that jumps us into our hobby time.
Hobby table.
Hey everybody, John Jack here from Dreadball Commercials. You've seen me, you love me, you know you want me. Here you're listening to Deadzone the podcast with Rick and Bryan. Don't turn that dial or I'm coming for you.
This Deadzone the podcast hobby table is sponsored by Corvus Games Terrain, 3D printer files for all your Mantic games. And by Acid House Terrain, foldable cardboard terrain for wargaming and RPGs.
Get on the table!
Yeah! Welcome to the Hobby Table. This is the section of the show where we talk about all the stuff that we've been working on. But the Hobby Table is brought to you by Corvus Games Terrain. They're great 3D models cubed up for Deadzone. We got some great cityscapes through there, some industrial ones, some infected ones, some rock formation terrain that I'm printing up a couple right now that I got my printer going again. And with Corvus Games Terrain, they're sponsoring the episode. And with them, we also have a 15% coupon code at checkout. Just use DZpodcast15, 15. That we've agreed that it's kind of simpler if it's just a flat number.
Yes.
Instead of rotating it every month. But this way you can get a little bit off for those 3D models. They're of excellent quality. They're often sliced up into pieces for smaller printers.
Yep.
I printed off a crashed ship at one point, and it was all sliced up so that I could print it in segments, which was awesome.
And I did it all in resin.
And you did it all in resin. And
God, that was a big print.
Yeah. And so great stuff over there. Go check them out. And then it's also sponsored by Acid House Terrain. This is kind of cardboard, foldable terrain that's really, really solid. Really, you get so much with it. There's great sci-fi sets. There's some cyberpunk sets. He
just released a new Kickstarter for his epic scale.
Yeah.
Which will be perfect for Epic Warpath.
Yeah. And so go check out Acid House Terrain. Really great stuff there. If you need that, if you're kind of like us and you're always kind of having to travel to play, it's always nice to have just something you can throw into a quick little box, breaks down, builds back up perfectly, and you're good to go. Also amazing for tournaments. So, yeah. So, as far as the hobby table section goes, the aforementioned busy month has had an impact, to be sure. But Rick, how have things been going on your front?
So things have been going all right. Obviously, still slower than I would have liked. I wanted to be a lot further done with the firefight expansion for the slow grow for us. But part of that is because I decided I did not like my June paint job.
Gotcha.
It didn't feel dark and scary enough, I guess would be the best way to put that.
Yeah.
like I love vibrant colors.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel with the Nightstalkers they need to be more muted. And I also wanted to go away from a Mantic color scheme. Because originally I was just going to do a Mantic color scheme. I was just going to pay them like so I can have it right in front of me and know what I'm doing.
Right.
So I went back to the drawing board and I'm going with a blood red muted color with some flesh tones in there.
Yeah.
And I just posted one of the models a couple days ago. That I really like how it sparks with the teeth.
Yeah, the teeth and really pop on it.
And also apparently I'm a fan of Doom because, like, okay, I haven't played Doom since I had to use dial-up. That was the last time I played a Doom game. So apparently I'm having massive flashbacks, and I've decided to paint Doom color schemes.
You would like to do his Doom game.
A couple of you guys, like somebody else posted on the Facebook post, the same thing. It was like, this looks exactly like Doom. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess I'm going Doom.
Yeah, not a bad thing at all. Like, and very fitting, like the kinds of creatures that inhabit the Doom universe. Definitely feel right at home with the things that are just giant mouths.
Yes,
teeth.
Indeed. But yeah, so that, and of course I finished printing a third Goblin group because I could. I have yours, I have mine, and then I said I wanted more.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, because you know what? I have completely fallen in love with the Goblin style skyscraper.
Yeah.
I am totally gonna put those in my Marauder list as my skyscrapers, just because they look so awesome.
Yeah. No, they're sweet. That particular vault set, I think, just blew me away. Like,
it really did.
It emphasized like the character and the kind of the joy of the goblin like mentality that Mantic likes to throw at us, and with the new sculpts being part of that, like,
so amazing.
There's a lot of love there. So I'm I will say I'm patiently waiting.
Yes, I know.
Sadly, we haven't had a chance to like meet up in a few months now.
Yeah.
So Rick's got a lot of stuff printed for me.
I do.
That's sitting there. So let me know. I'll pay for the postage.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Have you been able to get anything done?
So I did get a start. So I have a good chunk of that next set assembled. So again, our slow grow went as such where we did 150 points of Deadzone for June, and the July was going to be 300 points for Firefight.
Yep.
And so I did assemble a whole bunch. I got a good chunk of Peacekeepers, some jet bikes, another little Enforcer squad, with both like an option for like a sergeant as well as a new captain that I put together, and because I had the metal Roca, I assembled the metal Roca because I used my resin one to be crosshairs in my Deadzone set, and then I also did the resin Peacekeeper captain with the phase claws, and so like I kind of went beyond the 300 points with the assembling side of things. I also kind of started breaking out the pieces for the interceptor, because I'm definitely getting that completed as part of this project. And so then I went and I primed all the stuff that I had assembled with gray primer, because my paint scheme is I'm going kind of clone troopers have been my go-to for enforcers. I really like that, just flat white with the color accents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And So my intent was to then dry brush on white over the top of the gray primer. And I started experimenting mostly with my jet bike riders. Like I tried one where I kind of applied a wash first to the dark tone from Army Painter, just to give a little bit more depth to the shadows. And then I went and I did, while that was drying, I went and tried doing a dry brush of white on the other one, and it wasn't quite turning out. And that's mostly in part because I struggle with the dry brushing technique, and I don't think I have great brushes for it. So flash forward, but still back from today. So across the street from my house is one of those Amazon return box stores.
Yep.
And it's been there for like a year, and we haven't gone into it. And when my brother and his wife were visiting, we're like, let's just make a little trip of it and see what's there. And so I stumbled on a goodly amount of things. I found like this printer toolkit, so for 3D printing, and so it included like a new set of clippers, which was the main thing I was like looking for. But like another scraper, it's got a whole bunch of like the little needles for like the acupuncture needles to clear nozzles, and a whole bunch of files, and like it was a nice little kit. So I got that for like $6. I think it goes for at least 12, if not more. And then I also happened to find a little makeup brush kit that they're all like that perfect little curve for that I've seen people like say this is a good dry brushing brush. And variable sizes too, because that's I think something I was limited with on my previous set of brushes were like when it's doing it for small models and you're trying to like work within their arms and stuff like that, it's just hard to do that, where like a big brush you're missing other things, but a small brush just isn't getting the coverage and streaking that you don't want. So now I have like a set of like 10 makeup brushes, again for like $4. And it comes with a little mirror and a light.
Perfect.
Yeah. For when I want to showcase the model. But I'm hoping that kind of helps, and I can kind of take that back and get back into the groove of painting. I do have some other non-hobby projects that are demanding my free time here, kind of running up to the end of the month. So, but my goal is, kind of get back on the horse and finish out this 600-point firefight set in time. Excuse me, for the Mantic summer campaign.
Yes.
Which we don't have a lot of details on yet.
Nope, but it is right around the corner.
It is right around the corner. It typically happens end of August, like September is kind of. It's always kind of that weird thing for me, because I always felt like August is fall.
Yeah.
And so the fact that it's
because of where we're from.
Kind of
it's like, where both of us are from.
Yeah, we're from northern states, so like the leaves start turning earlier.
Yeah, like August is when all that stuff starts happening.
Yeah,
but not really in Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan's kind of a weird
hottest month of the year.
Yeah. So looking forward to the summer campaign. We've done them before in the past. If folks haven't had a chance to, it's a really great time. Usually involves a new planet for us to conquer. A whole bunch of
missions, a list of locations.
New missions, locations, new unique things to spice up the game. And then, of course, you're recording the results and that has an impact, a major impact on the results of the campaign, and tells the story of what ultimately happens to these planets.
Yes, indeed.
We've seen it where there was a nameless incursion that was, I think it was ultimately kind of knocked back, and if I recall correctly, I think the Marauders.
I think it was. I
winning
think the Marauders said nope.
I think that was for Magnetar. Just a couple. Gosh, was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
They did a King's campaign last year. So
yes.
But this is a really great time. Like Mantic, they have a great website that supports it, and you get some really awesome stats. And it's a really awesome way that we can show that the rebellion is strong, and will take back whatever planet needs freedom, and
sure,
yeah, from their corporate overlords.
They're not corporate. They're the good guys.
And then so with that, I think it is. I think the last bit of news that we want to touch base on is the Michigan GT.
Yep.
Which obviously that starts the news cycle where you're going to hear about that pretty much every month until it happens, and then at least 2 months afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Brittany knew all the great Michigan GT coverage. But for those that aren't aware, so Michigan GT is an awesome event that's put on in Lansing, Michigan, and every year. And there's a great Mantic presence at this event. Kings of War had over 30 players last year. And we had a great turnout for both Deadzone and Firefight. Armadas there as well. And so what we're doing this year is we shifted some stuff around, and we're doing Firefight on Friday. I suppose it would behoove me to actually pull up the Michigan GT website. What the times are. I think the website has the corrected times. They were off for a little bit.
Yeah.
But let me double check them real quick. So, because we have Firefight on Friday, starting right around 3:30, and doing a three round set of that. Packets are available for download. So go check them out. Play your scenarios and everything like that ahead of time. They never did grab the description I kept sending them for like the actual event description, but they at least have the packets up. Then Saturday, we have Deadzone, and this one's going to be starting at I think 11:30. So like check-in and start time. I think it's listed as 12 for start time, but
okay.
And so with Deadzone in particular, so we have a 4-hour block to play. Well, we had originally planned for 4 games, and we were able to move it up in the day because it used to be at the dead of night after Kings of War ended.
Yeah.
But that was always rough, and so we wanted to move it up, but that did kind of mean that we were constrained by time without bumping up the cost a bit more significantly. So we felt we wanted to keep that price point where it was, and so we're debating right now. We'll make sure we keep people in the loop on. Is we might either drop the points from 175 to 150. Or we might drop from 4 games to 3. Just for time's sake, we might get some feedback from the community and the people that are some regulars to the GT, see how they kind of feel. We've done some adjustments in the past. We still have some time, but obviously want to be upfront about that. and make sure people are aware. And yeah, it's going to be a blast. Either way, we just don't want people like feel like they having to rush through their games just because we have like practically like 50 minutes per game, and then 10 minutes in between where I'm trying to get the scores all figured out. So I like to have more breathing room for folks. But Deadzone always goes pretty smoothly. And then we also have on Sunday Firefight Annihilation. This one, the check-in time is listed incorrectly, but the start time is right. So we are not checking in at 9 p.m. Sunday night and then playing at 9:30 in the morning of Sunday.
Correct.
So it's 9 a.m. check-in, 9:30 start. And that one is going to be another 3-round game, Firefight Annihilation. Really want to see how it plays as a tournament. We're honestly not sure. Like, it is a fun game to do. But we thought, a tournament of it would be even more exciting. But we'll see how well the game is actually balanced for that. Looking for it to just mostly be a fun time.
And it would also, I mean, you can't go without saying the fact that this will actually be the first official Firefight Annihilation tournament, just for the record.
True. We like to premiere Mantic tournaments in the United States and the world at the Michigan GT.
Yes, we do.
Because we hosted the first, I think, Firefight 2nd Edition tournament in the U.S., the first Command Protocols one in the U.S., and so we like to.
We'll keep going.
We like to premiere stuff. It just so happens to line up.
I don't know if we'll have enough time to be the first premier Halo tournament. I think there will probably be a mad rush for those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
once released.
Yeah, we will likely not. There will likely be other tournaments that happen before the GT comes back around. Between
That's not our
when
fault.
Halo comes out. That's not our fault. We don't set the schedule. But as a last note for the Michigan GT, I do want to note, because the question has come up on social media, we are allowing the beta lists for Firefight and Deadzone. But what that does mean, in particular for Firefight, is that we are using the Asterians beta list only, rather than the regular Asterians list and the beta ones separately. We're gonna go the beta list, if there are one. That's what we're playing as, and that's mostly tournaments are a great way for Mantic to get feedback on how those lists are balanced and how well they play against other factions. And so that's something we like to offer as well. Is that gives people the chance to play the latest, the newest, brightest, and shiniest. Just letting everybody know we are going to be using the beta lists. So you can bring your Nightstalkers, you can bring your new Asterians, and the Matsudon and the Nightstalkers to Deadzone as well. So it's going to be a fun time, everybody. If you have any questions about that at all, feel free to reach out to us. We're on a lot of different social platforms. Facebook in particular is probably our most active, but we do have a Discord. I know there's been some questions in there. I hope to. I apologize if I don't get to them right away, but we got some fun stuff. And look at that, we still wound up almost recording in an hour.
Every time.
So for not having a whole lot to cover, we sure fill up
covered it all
time. So thanks everyone for checking out the episode. Please give us a like and a subscribe and whatever else options there are. I'm sure they keep changing. And we really appreciate we love to hear from you guys, so feel free to reach out to us and leave comments. Show us your progress on your slow grow stuff. I'll post a picture of the guys I've got together, even though I don't have them really painted yet.
It just means you're gonna have to do extra painting in August.
Yeah, exactly. It's just gonna have to. It helps motivate me, really. It's like I've got this deadline and this pressure. Just didn't quite work out with how full my schedule was this month. But yeah, so with that, have a nice night, everybody.
See ya. It never fails.
Never fails. I wonder if we'll have the first epic Warpath tournaments at the Michigan GT.
Probably.
That would be a good one.
So I mean, if you look at the release on Epic, so I would assume that it's going to be available at Adepticon.
Yeah, it's due out March 2025, which then
so means they'll be able to play it. Yeah, they'll be able to play it at Adepticon, but there won't be a tournament for it.
Right.
And then Gen Con will probably have, because they don't really do the tournaments per se at Gen Con. So then, unless Origins becomes a thing.
Yeah.
Even still with Origins, not so much a tournament thing, other than another place to learn and play it.
Yeah.
Because it could be us again. We'll keep doing that.
Yeah, I won't say no.
Yep.